I want to turn to the energy sector, which is key in Canada's economic recovery. So the C.D. Howe Institute's September 2024 report highlights a decline in investment per worker in the oil and gas sector compared to the U.S., citing less favorable regulatory environment since 2015. Now, just yesterday, we learned that TC Energy, a Canadian company, is investing $8.5 billion in energy infrastructure. However, unfortunately, that's in the United States. So additionally, the Parliamentary Budget Officer warned that policies restricting Canadian energy production could reduce GDP by $20 billion annually and cost tens of thousands of jobs by 2032. So how do regulatory and policy uncertainties around energy restrictions affect Canada's ability to attract and retain capital investment, and what are the implications for productivity and economic growth?
Well, I'll repeat something that I said in response to an earlier question about the very capital-intensive nature of natural resource industries. And when you have high amounts of capital per worker, you pay very high wages. You alluded already, so I'll say that the knock-on effects from investment in natural resource projects, including oil and gas extraction, are considerable. One of the reasons that machinery and equipment investment has been weaker in Canada than in the United States is because of the amount of machinery and equipment that is used in the fossil fuel sector and in the energy sector generally. I would like to see us do a more thorough revamp. Bill C5, as we call it, is sort of addressing in a piecemeal fashion some of the obstacles that face individual projects. But there's no question in my mind, and talking to industry executives as you do, you'll know this, they do see that Canada has been a very difficult environment to operate in. For those who are interested in the details, the structure of the industry is different. One of the reasons the United States was able to rebound faster from the oil price collapse is because there's more fracking there, there's more quick turnaround stuff, whereas we have the oil sands, which are by their nature more sort of like base load, if you like that comparison. But the United States has moved ahead quickly on LNG, and we have not. So I think we can see some comparisons with our performance versus the Americans. The world wants our fossil fuels. We will need them for a long time to come. It makes sense for us to develop those resources more fulsomely than we've done over the past decade.
Thank you for your response. We just heard, in response to your previous question, just sort of how the opportunity would be decimated for future manufacturing growth and jobs if we don't correct our productivity and investment issue. So what immediate policy actions would you recommend to help reverse Canada's productivity and investment challenges and ensure that we can share in the future of economic prosperity?
I have mentioned taxation several times already, so I'll come back to it again because for the reasons that I already mentioned, it's a tool where we can do things. If you turn the knob in a certain direction, you can have a fair amount of confidence that you're going to see a certain result. Many levers of economic policy are not as straightforward as that. I don't think that Canada is ready for any kind of thoroughgoing revamp of the corporate tax system. It takes a long time to talk about that, to get people comfortable with the idea. Ideally, you would have a federal fiscal situation that could tolerate some revenue cost because it's a lot easier to do a tax reform if you can allow revenue to be a little softer for a few years. That way the losers don't lose so much compared to what the winners win. I will go back to the suggestion of a temporary investment tax credit for the reasons I mentioned already. It's easy to design. It will have quite predictable effects. If it's temporary, the fiscal hit will be temporary, and then you can recapture a little bit of what you gave up. But I think that would help bridge the gap between where we are now and where we would like to be with a more competitive corporate tax system over time. And if the federal government is planning on spending like billions of dollars in new subsidies of various kinds, I'd say forget all that stuff. It takes a long time to do. It's very politically complicated. It gives rise to all sorts of lobbying. If you do something on the tax side, it's big, it's dramatic, it's more neutral, and you know that it's going to have a positive effect.
Thanks for your responses. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much, Mr. Googling.